The rain pounded the church windows like fists demanding entry, but inside, the air was thick with forced smiles and the scent of wilting lilies. I stood at the back of the pew, my tie choking me tighter than the lie I'd swallowed for years, watching Henry at the altar, his broad shoulders squared under that rented tux, his dark hair slicked back just the way he knew I liked it. In that frozen second before the organ swelled, our eyes locked across the crowded nave, and I saw it. The flicker of regret, the ghost of what we'd buried, vanishing as quickly as my resolve to stay silent forever. It had started innocently enough, or so we told ourselves, back in the sticky heat of a Chicago summer when we were both 22 and invincible. Henry and I met at Northwestern, thrown together in a cramped dorm room that smelled of instant ramen and unwashed dreams. He was the golden boy from a suburb south of the city, varsity soccer star with a laugh that could disarm a room, easy charm masking the pressure of a family that expected him to carry their legacy like a crown. I was Alex Rivera, the quiet kid from the West Side with a sketchbook full of half-finished portraits and a secret that felt like a bomb ticking in my chest. Gay in a world that still whispered about it like a scandal, I'd learned early to keep my colors muted, my affections tucked away like contraband. Our friendship ignited over late-night study sessions that devolved into everything but studying. We'd sprawl on the floor, textbooks forgotten, debating everything from indie bands to the ethics of ghosting a bad date. Henry had this way of leaning in, his knee brushing mine without apology, his green eyes lighting up as he confessed his fears about law school applications and the weight of his father's expectations. "You're the only one who gets it, Alex," he'd say, clapping my shoulder with a grip that lingered too long, sending sparks I pretended were static. I got it because I lived it. My own parents, immigrants from Mexico who'd clawed their way to a modest life in Pilsen, loved me fiercely but prayed nightly that I'd find a nice girl to settle down with. They didn't know the half of it, and I wasn't ready to shatter their illusions. By junior year, the lines blurred. It was a Friday night in October, the campus alive with the crunch of fallen leaves underfoot, and we'd snuck into the empty art studio after hours, my domain, where canvases leaned like silent witnesses. Henry had shown up unannounced, a six-pack in hand, his face stormy from another blowout with his dad over wasting time on philosophy electives. We cracked open beers, the fizz echoing in the dim space, and he paced like a caged animal while I perched on a stool, charcoal smudging my fingers as I absent-mindedly sketched his profile. "Why does everything have to be so damn planned?" he exploded, kicking a drop cloth. "Like, marry the right girl, get the right job, pop out kids who'll do it all over again. What if I just want something real?" I set down the charcoal, my heart hammering. "Then take it, Henry. Whatever it is." Our eyes met, and the air shifted, heavy with the unsaid. He crossed the room in 2 strides, dropping to his knees in front of me, not in supplication, but in raw need. His hands found my face, thumbs tracing my jaw with a tenderness that undid me, and then his lips were on mine, hesitant at first, then fierce, like he'd been starving for this permission his whole life. We kissed until the world narrowed to the taste of hops and salt, his fingers tangling in my hair, my hands fisting his shirt. It wasn't just a kiss. It was a confession, a rebellion against the scripts we'd been handed. We pulled apart gasping, foreheads pressed together, and in that suspended breath, he whispered, "I've wanted this. You. For so long." My chest cracked open, hope flooding in like sunlight through a storm drain. For weeks after, we navigated the thrill of secrecy, stolen touches in the library stacks, whispered plans for a road trip after graduation, dreams of a life where labels didn't matter. Henry talked about coming out to his family, about us building something unbreakable in a city that could swallow us whole. I believed him because when he looked at me, I saw my future reflected back. Messy, beautiful, ours. But reality has a way of clawing back its due. Senior year brought interviews and internships, the grind of futures pressing in. Henry's family ramped up the pressure. Dinners with eligible daughters of family friends, casual mentions of settling down, that landed like grenades. He started pulling away, not with cruelty, but with the slow erosion of distance, canceled hangouts, texts left on read, excuses wrapped in fatigue. I chalked it up to stress, clung to the nights we'd still steal, bodies pressed close in my off-campus apartment, hearts sinking in the dark. "It's temporary," he'd murmur against my skin, his breath warm and reassuring. "Once we're out of here, it'll be different." Graduation came like a thief, scattering us into the adult world. I landed a graphic design gig at a small firm in Wicker Park, sketching logos for craft breweries and indie bookstores, while Henry dove into a clerkship at a Loop law firm, his days a blur of depositions and late nights. We promised to make it work, but the city conspired against us. Commutes that stretched hours, social circles that demanded facades. Then came Emily. She was everything his world approved of, poised, ambitious, a rising star in marketing with a laugh like champagne bubbles and a family that summered in the Hamptons. They met at a networking event, the kind Henry dragged me to once before I begged off, claiming a deadline. "She's great, Alex," he told me over coffee a week later, his eyes avoiding mine. "Smart, funny." We clicked. Jealousy coiled in my gut, but I forced a grin, toasting to his good fortune because that's what friends do. Or lovers pretending to be friends. The dates piled up, innocent at first. Group outings where I'd tag along, watching her hand slip into his, the easy way she fit into his life without the shadows we carried. I told myself it was harmless, that our connection ran deeper, proven in the way he'd still seek me out for late-night drives along Lake Shore, windows down, music blasting to drown out the doubts. But one night, after too many whiskeys at a dive bar in Andersonville, he broke. "I love her, Alex. Like, really love her. But it's not. It's not you." The words landed like a slap, and I fled to the bathroom, retching into the sink while the truth sank in. He'd given his heart to her, piece by careful piece, while mine lay shattered at his feet. I vanished that week, ghosting calls and texts, packing a bag for a freelance stint in New York I'd been too scared to take. Let him have his perfect life, I thought, the plane lifting off O'Hare like an escape pod. But 2 years blurred by in a haze of city lights and hollow hookups, and word trickled back, the engagement, the wedding plans, the invitations that never came my way. Until today, standing here in this rain-lashed church in Oak Park, his childhood home turf, because his mom, bless her oblivious heart, had insisted on one last old friend invite. I came for closure, or maybe punishment, but as the bridal march began, Henry's gaze found mine again, pleading in a way words never could. Emily glided down the aisle, radiant in ivory lace, her arm looped through her father's. The congregation rose, a sea of pastel suits and teary aunts, but I stayed rooted, the hook of his eyes pulling me under. What if this was the mistake we'd both regret? What if the heart he'd given away was still mine, buried under layers of denial and decorum? The minister cleared his throat, and Henry turned to face her, but not before mouthing 2 words across the distance. "Wait for me." Those words haunted me through the ceremony, a siren's call amid the vows that echoed like accusations. I, Henry James Whitaker, take thee, Emily Rose Harlan, to be my lawfully wedded wife. Each syllable twisted the knife, yet that mouthed promise, "Wait for me," looped in my mind, irrational hope flickering against the evidence of rings sliding into place. I slipped out during the recessional, the side door banging shut behind me, rain soaking my shirt in seconds. Chicago's suburbs blurred into gray streaks as I drove aimlessly, radio crooning some forgotten ballad about lost loves, until my phone buzzed. A text from Sarah, my oldest confidant, and the only one who'd known the full wreckage. "Where are you? Reception starting. Don't make me hunt you down." Sarah Lopez. We'd bonded freshman year over shared sketches and a mutual disdain for frat parties, had become my anchor, her sharp wit and unyielding loyalty a balm for my frayed edges. A lesbian with a pixie cut and tattoos that told stories of marches and midnight raves, she ran a tattoo parlor in Logan Square now, inking rebels and romantics alike. She'd held me through the breakup, nights curled on her couch with pints of Ben and Jerry's and playlists of angry folk anthems. "He's scared, Alex," she'd say, braiding my hair absently. "Not of you, of them. The whole heteronormative machine, grinding him down." But I knew better. Fear didn't rewrite desires, didn't turn stolen kisses into polite handshakes. I pulled into the country club's lot anyway, the valet eyeing my drenched state with pity. Inside, the ballroom glittered, chandeliers dripping light onto linen-draped tables, a string quartet sawing at Pachelbel's cannon. Emily and Henry held court at the head table, her head on his shoulder, his smile practiced but brittle. I hovered at the bar, nursing a scotch that burned less than the sight of them, until Sarah materialized, linking her arm through mine. You look like a drowned rat, or a dramatic exit waiting to happen. Her eyes scanned my face, reading the storm there. Talk to me. Before I could, a shadow fell over us. Jordan, Henry's cousin, all lanky limbs and ironic bow tie, clutching a champagne flute. Trans and unapologetically fabulous, Jordan had transitioned during our college days, emerging from the awkward chrysalis of adolescence with a confidence that shamed us all. We'd formed an unlikely trio back then. Me the quiet artist, Sarah the firebrand, Jordan the philosopher quoting Audre Lorde over cheap wine. Alex Rivera, as I live and breathe, Jordan drawled, hugging me fiercely. Henry's been asking about you nonstop. Said you bailed like a ghost at the ceremony. My stomach nodded. Just needed air. Lies tasted bitter, but necessary. Jordan's gaze sharpened, the one that saw through bullshit like glass. Bull. This wedding's a powder keg, and you're the match. Emily's sweet, but clueless. Thinks Henry's stress is all billable hours. You gonna let him blow it all up without a word? Sarah shot Jordan a warning look, but I waved it off. He's made his choice. Let him have it. The toasts began then, a parade of maudlin anecdotes. Henry's dad recounting Little League triumphs, Emily's sister gushing about their fairy tale meet-cute. When it was Jordan's turn, they climbed the mic with a grin that promised mischief. To Henry and Emily, may your love be as enduring as my aunt's fruitcake recipe, and twice as surprising. Laughter rippled, but Jordan's eyes locked on mine, a silent dare. Later, as cake was sliced and couples swayed to Ed Sheeran, Henry found me on the terrace, the night air crisp with impending frost. Alex. His voice cracked the silence, rough as gravel. He looked undone, tie loose, jacket slung over one arm, the weight of the day carving lines around his mouth. I leaned against the railing, staring at the golf course's dark fairways. Congrats. She's beautiful. You too. You look right. The words cost me, but they were honest, laced with the ache of letting go. He stepped closer, too close, the heat of him cutting through the chill. Don't do that. Don't pretend this is easy. His hand hovered near mine, then dropped, as if burned. I saw you today, in the church, and everything. God, Alex, everything came rushing back. Rain from earlier slicked his hair, one strand falling boyish over his brow, and for a heartbeat, we were 22 again. In that studio, possibilities infinite. I swallowed hard. Then why? Why her, Henry? Why now? The question hung, raw and demanding. He raked a hand through his hair, exhaling shakily. Because it's safe. Emily, she fits. My parents adore her. The firm's partners nod approvingly, and for once, I don't feel like I'm disappointing everyone. His voice dropped. But you make me want to burn it all down. That's the problem. I can't be that guy, Alex. Not yet. Not ever. The challenge slipped out, edged with years of waiting. He flinched, green eyes stormy. I don't know. I love her, I do. But it's not the same. With you, it's like breathing fire, like I'm alive in a way that terrifies me. Footsteps echoed from the doors. Sarah, scanning the terrace with maternal worry. Henry straightened, the mask slipping back on. Dance with Sarah. Eat cake. Act normal. Please. He squeezed my arm, thumb brushing my wrist in a ghost of old intimacies, then vanished inside, leaving me adrift in the cold. Sarah joined me, slipping a fresh drink into my hand. What did Prince Charming want? I shrugged, the burn in my throat unrelated to liquor. Absolution, maybe. Or an alibi. She studied me, her expression softening. You're stronger than this, Alex. But if you stay, it'll gut you. We re-entered the fray together, her arm a steady anchor, but the night fractured into snapshots. Emily's joyful twirl with her father, Jordan's whispered asides about family hypocrisies, Henry's stolen glances that felt like lifelines tossed into a riptide. By midnight, as guests trickled out, I cornered Jordan in the coat room, coats shedding petals of confetti. What's the play here? You dropping hints like breadcrumbs, tell me straight. Jordan zipped their jacket, eyes twinkling with that knowing glint. Henry's a mess, Alex. Engaged a month after you left for New York, like he was plugging a hole. But Emily? She's no fool. Saw the way he lights up around you tonight. Question is, you gonna fight for the mess, or let it stay tidy? I drove home through sheets of rain, the wipers slashing like accusations. My apartment in Wicker Park, cozy chaos of canvases and takeout menus, felt emptier than usual. Collapsing onto the bed, I scrolled old photos. Us at the Bean, reflected infinitely. A blurry shot from that road trip we never took. Just the two of us, arms slung around shoulders, grinning like idiots. Wait for me. The words mocked me now, a cruel echo. But dawn crept in with traitorous resolve. One more conversation, one chance to unearth the truth before I buried it for good. The next morning brought hangover haze and a voicemail from Henry's mom, voice warm with post-wedding glow. Alex, dear, come for brunch tomorrow? Emily's family is in town. Let's celebrate properly. Irony twisted like a knife. Celebrate the cage he'd locked himself in. I agreed, because running twice felt like cowardice, and because Sarah texted a single emoji, a boxing glove. Preparation meant armor, fitted button down to hide the tremor in my hands, sketchbook tucked underarm like a shield. The Whitaker home sprawled in Oak Park, a Victorian relic of gables and gingerbread trim, the kind of place that whispered old money. Brunch unfolded on the sun porch, laden with quiches and mimosas, laughter bubbling like the champagne. Emily was a vision in sundress casual, her auburn hair catching light as she recounted their honeymoon plans. Bora Bora, all turquoise waters and overwater bungalows. Henry's hopeless with directions, she teased, nudging him. Good thing I'm navigating. He chuckled, but his eyes darted to me across the table, a plea woven into the polite nod. Jordan sat beside me, foot nudging mine under the tablecloth, a Morse code of solidarity. Aunt Clara's eyeing you like fresh meat. They murmured, nodding to Henry's mom, who beamed as she passed the scones. Single? Eligible? Spill. I deflected with a joke about my artistic temperament. But the undercurrent pulled. Henry's dad dominating conversation with tales of mergers and acquisitions, Emily's parents chiming in with seamless synergy. It was a tableau of approval, every element in harmony except the man at its center, who picked at his eggs with feigned interest. After plates cleared, the group migrated to the garden, roses heavy with late bloom, where Emily pulled me aside near the fountain. I've heard so much about you, she said, her smile genuine, blue eyes curious. Henry says you're the one who kept him sane in college. My throat tightened. Sane, or something wilder. We looked out for each other. I managed, hating the half-truth. She tilted her head, perceptive. He misses that. Us being busy. It's not the same. Maybe we could all grab dinner sometime. Reconnect the circle. The offer hung, kind but laced with unwitting cruelty. Before I could respond, Henry appeared, hand on her waist possessive. Stealing my best man already? His tone was light, but his grip tightened fractionally. She laughed, kissing his cheek. Just plotting. You two catch up, show him the new studio. She wandered off to join the parents, leaving us in the rose-scented hush. Studio? I echoed, following him through French doors into the house's depths, a converted garage now a woodshop, tools gleaming on pegboards, half-finished birdhouses scattered like abandoned thoughts. Henry flipped on a lamp, the bulb casting warm pools on sawdust-strewn floors. Dad's retirement project. Helps him unwind from the boardroom. He leaned against a workbench, arms crossed, the posture defensive. Thanks for coming. I know it's weird. Weird didn't cover it. The air crackled with unfinished sentences, the space between us a minefield of what-ifs. I traced a finger along a lathe, grounding myself in the cool metal. You mouthed something yesterday. In the church. Wait for me. What the hell does that mean, Henry? He winced, rubbing his neck. I don't know. Impulse. Seeing you there, it hit me, how much I've lost. Not just us, but me. His voice frayed, vulnerability cracking the facade. Emily's amazing. She is. But every day, I wake up wondering if I'm lying to her. To everyone. The confession unlocked something in me, anger surging hot. Then tell her, God, Henry, don't drag her into your denial parade. I paced the narrow aisle, frustration boiling over. You kissed me like I was oxygen, talked futures like they were etched in stone, then poof. engaged to the girl next door. Was it all a phase? A college experiment to spice up the straight guy resume? My words lashed out, sharper than intended, born of wounds still festering. He pushed off the bench, closing the gap, his face inches from mine. No, never a phase. You are, the realest thing I've ever felt. His breath ghosted my lips, the proximity a torment. But my family's crumbling, Alex. Dad's health scare last year, Mom's anxiety through the roof. If I append it all now, I can't be the villain in their story. Tears glistened in his eyes, unashamed. I thought marriage would fix it, make me normal, but it's just a prettier cage. I wanted to shake him, to kiss him, to walk away, all at once. Instead, I cupped his face, thumbs wiping salt tracks. You're not a villain. You're just scared. And that's okay. But hiding? It poisons everything. Our foreheads touched, breaths mingling, the world shrinking to this dusty sanctuary. For a suspended eternity, we stood there, teetering on the edge of collapse or catharsis. A throat cleared, Jordan, framed in the doorway, eyebrow arched. As touching as this hallmark moment is, Emily's asking for you, Grimzilla. Henry jerked back, composing himself with practiced ease. Coming. To me, softer. Think about dinner. Please. He brushed past, leaving sawdust motes dancing in his wake. Jordan lingered, arms folded. That looked intense. You good? I exhaled, leaning against the wall. Define good. He's drowning, and I'm the life preserver he won't grab. Jordan nodded, empathetic. Classic Whitaker move, sacrifice self for the greater good. But Emily? She's sharper than she lets on. Overheard her on the phone last week, asking a friend about signs your partner's not all in. Clock's ticking, Alex. Back on the porch, the brunch devolved into lazy chatter, mimosas refilled until edges blurred. Emily drew me into a conversation about design trends, her enthusiasm infectious, but I caught the subtle scans, her eyes flicking between Henry and me, piecing together invisible threads. You two have history, she said casually, sipping her drink. The good kind. He talks about you like your family. Family. The word stung, reductive. Yeah, thick as thieves. I forced levity, but she held my gaze a beat too long, something unspoken passing, awareness, perhaps, or warning. As the afternoon waned, Henry's dad pulled him aside for a gruff pat on the back. Proud of you, son, while his mom enveloped me in a hug scented with Chanel. Don't be a stranger, Alex. You're like the son we never had. The irony burned. If only she knew how close her son had come to appending the dynasty. Driving away, the radio spat traffic updates, but my mind replayed the studio standoff, the almost kiss hanging like smoke. That evening, Sarah commandeered my kitchen for debrief tacos. Her girlfriend Mia, a soft-spoken librarian with a knack for herbal teas, chiming in with gentle probes. Sounds like he's bi, Alex. Not straight, not gay, just human, fumbling through. Mia's perspective, shaped by her own journey supporting Sarah's coming out, cut through my defensiveness. But marrying her, that's a choice. You can't wait forever for him to unchoose it. Sarah nodded, chopping onions with vigor. Exactly. Set a boundary, or you'll be the side plot in his biopic. Their words stewed overnight, fermenting into resolve. The next day, at my desk overlooking Milwaukee Avenue's bustle, I drafted an email, measured, final. Dinner sounds good. But let's talk real. No more half-truths. Thursday. His reply pinged instant. Deal. Pick you up at 7. Neutral ground. Neutral ground turned out to be a quiet bistro in Lincoln Park, exposed brick and candlelight softening the edges of confrontation. He arrived flustered, loosening his collar as he slid into the booth. Traffic was hell. Small talk faltered, work gripes, weather woes, until appetizers arrived, forcing the pivot. About yesterday, he started, fork spearing a calamari ring like it owed him answers. I meant what I said. It's not fair to anyone. I set down my menu, meeting his eyes. Then what now? Call off the wedding? Come out? Or keep playing house until it implodes? He sighed, heavy. I can't call it off. Not like that. Emily doesn't deserve the scandal. Protective instinct flared, for her, surprisingly. Then talk to her. Let her decide if she wants the mess. He nodded slowly, the idea taking root. Maybe. God, this is terrifying. We lingered over entrees, the conversation meandering to safer shores. Jordan's latest art installation, Sarah's parlor expansion. But undercurrents pulled, his foot nudging mine under the table, accidental or not, sending jolts. As we parted on the sidewalk, city hum enveloping us, he hugged me fiercely. Thank you for not giving up on me. His lips brushed my temple, chaste but charged. I watched him drive off, taillights fading into the night, wondering if this was progress or procrastination. The week blurred into deadlines, my sketches turning abstract, swirls of green eyes and fractured hearts. Thursday brought the dinner. Me, Henry, Emily, and a handful of old college pals at a Ukrainian spot in Ukrainian village, pierogies steaming amid boisterous toasts. Emily dominated with charm, her questions probing my New York detour. Heard you crushed it out there. Why back? And I spun tales of burnout and home pull, omitting the Henry-shaped void. He sat across, quiet, his smiles for her but glances for me, a triangle tightening. Jordan arrived late, fashionably disheveled, sliding in beside Emily with a wink. Brought reinforcements. Sarah and Mia couldn't make it, but sent vodka wishes. The table erupted, shots clinking, stories flowing like the spirits. Midway, Emily excused herself to the ladies' room, and Henry leaned in, voice low. She's onto something. Asked if we were ever more. My pulse spiked. And he shrugged, pained. Told her college was wild. But she didn't buy it. Jordan, eavesdropping shamelessly, chimed in. Truth bomb time, cuz. Emily's no damsel. She's got her own lawyer on speed dial if things go south. Henry paled, the levity shattering. Emily returned then, oblivious or not, rallying with dessert orders. But the mood shifted, laughter tinny, underlaid with tension. Later, as checks were settled, she pulled Henry aside near the coat rack, their heads bent in murmur. I pretended absorption in my phone, but Jordan's foot tapped mine, alert. When they returned, her smile was tight, his forced. The drive home was silent, my mind churning scenarios, confrontation imminent, fallout inevitable. A text buzzed as I unlocked my door. Emily, coffee tomorrow? Just us girls. Air, you know. The casual slip-mast steel, she knew. Morning found me at a corner cafe in Roscoe Village, steam rising from lattes like peace offerings. Emily arrived punctual, yoga pants and ponytail screaming off duty, but her eyes were sharp. Alex, straight up, what's the deal with you and Henry? No preamble, just the blade. I stirred sugar unnecessarily, buying seconds. Deal? We're friends. Always have been. She leaned forward, unblinking. Friends don't look at each other like that. Like you're the sun and he's been in eclipse. Disarmed, I met her gaze. Okay, fine. We experimented. College stuff. It's ancient history. Lie by omission, but close enough to sting. She nodded, processing. He told me bits. Said it was a phase, but I see how he orbits you. And honestly, it hurts. Vulnerability cracked her poise, tears welling. I love him, Alex. But if his heart split? She trailed off, dabbing with a napkin. I just want the truth. For all of us. The confession hung, mutual wreckage laid bare. He loves you too, I said softly. In a safe way. But with me, it's chaos. The kind that changes you. She exhaled, resolute. Then he needs to choose. No more shadows. We parted with an awkward hug, her whisper fierce. Fight fair, okay? But fight. Empowered or gutted, I texted Henry. Talk to Emily. Your move. His reply. Frantic call. What did you say? Panic edged his voice. The truth. Or close. She's done with half measures. Silence stretched. Then, meet me. Studio. Now. I went. The afternoon sun slanting through garage windows as he paced, wild-eyed. This is it, isn't it? Everything unraveling. He stopped, facing me. I can't lose her. But I can't lose you either. Then don't. The words escaped, bold. Be bi. Be both. But be honest. He laughed bitterly. Easy for you. Your family's chaotic, they'd roll with it. Mine? They'd disown me. I stepped closer, challenging. So what? Live for them, or for you. The dam broke then. He kissed me, desperate, hands framing my face as if anchoring to reality. It was fire and farewell, tasting of regret and release. We broke apart, gasping. I need time, he whispered. To figure this out. I nodded, stepping back. Take it, but not forever. Leaving him there, Tool's silent witnesses, I drove to Sarah's parlor, the buzz of needles a soothing drone. She inked a client's forearm, a phoenix rising, while I vented over takeout pho. He's choosing, I said, chopsticks hovering. But what if it's not me? Mia, restocking ink, offered quiet wisdom. Choice isn't zero-sum. By folks build bridges, not walls. Give him space to cross. Sarah snorted, wiping down her station. Or blow it up. Your call. Their support steadied me, a reminder of the chosen family that had carried me through. Days blurred into a tense limbo. Henry's texts sporadic. Work excuses laced with miss you, while Emily's silence roared. Jordan became courier, dropping hints over beers at a dive in Humboldt Park. She's lawyering up subtly, prenup tweaks. And he's spiraling, calling me at 3 a.m. about integrity. I absorbed it, sketching feverishly. Portraits of fractured faces, Henry's eyes dominant, pleading from the page. The climax brewed at a gallery opening in Pilsen, my firm's showcase, walls hung with urban abstracts. I arrived armored in slacks and resolve, mingling with collectors and critics, Sarah and Mia flanking like sentinels. Then they walked in, Henry and Emily, arm in arm, her in a sleek black dress that screamed statement. He spotted me first, expression a war of relief and dread. She followed his gaze, nodding coolly before steering him toward a piece, a storm-tossed skyline, ironically mine. Striking, she said when we converged, her tone neutral. Captures that Chicago edge, beautiful but brutal. Henry murmured agreement, his hand twitching at his side. Small talk ensued, art jargon as shield, until a lull, and she struck. Henry and I are taking a beat. Counseling. Figure things out. Blunt, no sugar. His face ashen, he nodded. Yeah, space. The gallery's hum faded, just us three in a bubble of truth. I'm sorry, I said to her, meaning it. She shrugged, graceful. Don't be. Love's not a contest, it's clarity. To him, fix yourself first. She kissed his cheek, then mine, fraternal, forgiving, before gliding away to schmooze donors. Henry sagged against the wall, drained. She's right. I owe her that. His eyes searched mine. And you? I touched his arm light. I'm here. When you're ready. The night dissolved into after-party chatter, but the air had cleared, possibilities unfurling like the city's endless grid. Weeks later, autumn deepened, leaves carpeting sidewalks in crimson. Henry's counseling updates trickled, texts about breakthroughs, doubts aired in therapists' offices. Emily moved temporarily to her sister's in Evanston, the engagement ring tucked away, not discarded. Jordan hosted a decompression bonfire in their backyard, circle of us, Sarah strumming guitar, Mia passing esmores, roasting marshmallows and marshmallows worth of baggage. To messy hearts, Jordan toasted, sparks flying. Henry, across the flames, met my eyes, the fire gilding his features. To messy hearts. Later, as embers died, he walked me to my car, night crisp with wood smoke. I'm coming out. To my parents. Next weekend. Pride swelled, mixed with fear for him. You'll kill it. He grinned, tentative. Then, dinner? Just us. I nodded, heart full. Just us. The coming out unfolded like a storm long forecasted, thunderous but inevitable. Henry's text Sunday night. It's done. Yelling, tears, but they listened. Mostly. Follow-up call painted the chaos, his dad's bluster dissolving into stunned silence, mom's sobs giving way to halting questions. They love me, he said, voice raw. Even if it's messy. Relief colored his words, a lightness I'd missed. Our dinner followed midweek, a hole-in-the-wall Italian in Little Italy, checkered cloths and Chianti that loosened tongues. No pretenses, just pasta twirled, stories swapped, his hand covering mine across the table midway through tiramisu. I told Emily everything. He confessed, thumb stroking my knuckles. She's hurt, but understanding. Wants time, maybe friendship down the line. Empathy tugged for her, the collateral in his awakening. She's strong. You'll both be okay. As plates cleared, the conversation deepened. His bisexuality unpacked. Not a phase, but a spectrum he'd denied. I thought straight was the default, you know? Easier script. I shared my own scars. The West Side whispers after a high school rumor, parents' quiet prayers evolving to quiet acceptance after a tearful kitchen table talk last year. We're all improvising, I said, clinking glasses. The night ended with a walk along the river, city lights dancing on water, his arm around my shoulders casual, right? Fall yielded to winter's bite, holidays a gauntlet of navigated norms. I hosted a Friendsgiving redux at my place, Sarah and Mia contributing empanadas, Jordan with spiked cider, Henry tentative at first, then blooming amid the banter. No Emily, but her absence felt respectful, not gaping. His family tested boundaries, awkward calls from his mom, "We're trying, dear," and a stiff lunch where his dad grunted approvals over turkey. Progress, jagged but real. By New Year's, we'd carved a rhythm. Mornings at my firm bleeding into his evenings, shared sketches of apartment hunts, his lease ending soon, quiet nights with takeout and true crime docs. Intimacy rebuilt slow, no rush to reclaim lost ground, but kisses that lingered, touches that promised. One snowy eve, bundled on my fire escape, he turned to me, breath fogging air. "I love you, Alex. Not as a friend. As everything." The words landed soft, true. I love you too. We sealed it there, lips meeting in the flurry, the city below indifferent to our quiet revolution. Spring thawed the tensions, Emily re-emerging as ally. Brunch invites inclusive, her divorce papers filed with grace. "No hard feelings," she said over avocado toast, her laugh genuine. "Turns out I want someone all in too." Jordan officiated a symbolic unengagement bonfire for her, trinkets torched amid cheers. Henry's guilt eased, space for joy. But drama simmered beneath, his firm's old guard whispers about personal matters. A colleague snide email chain Jordan forwarded, laced with slurs. "They're dinosaurs," Henry vented over phone, post-meeting fury. "But it stings." I countered with action, connecting him to a queer lawyers network, Sarah designing pride in the boardroom stickers for his laptop. Solidarity wove us tighter, the group's bond a fortress. Summer brought heat waves and high stakes. A weekend getaway to Saugatuck, Michigan's dunes, our first unchaperoned escape. The cottage rental overlooked Lake Michigan, waves lapping like applause. Days blurred, kayaking till arms ached, bonfires where we roasted marshmallows and vulnerabilities. One dusk, atop a dune, sand warm under us, he proposed. Not rings, but futures. "Move in? Build this for real." Tears pricked. After years of waiting, the yes flowed easy. Back in Chicago, integration hit snags. My parents' first meet, tamales and trepidation, their hugs warmer than expected. "As long as he treats you right," my mom whispered, eyeing Henry over flan. His side lagged. Family dinners polite but probing. His dad's golf invites a thaw. Prejudices lingered, subtle. A cousin's offhand lifestyle comment, swatted by Jordan's razor wit. Autumn circled back, wedding season a minefield. We attended a mutual friend's, gay couple, joyous vows under oak arches. Henry teared up during rings, squeezing my hand. "That's us. Someday." But echoes of his near miss haunted, a late-night fight after a family barb, his doubts resurfacing. "What if I'm not enough? For you, for them?" I held him through it, whispering anchors. "You're everything." The real storm brewed at Thanksgiving. Whitaker patriarch ill, hospital hushed with monitors. We rallied. Henry bedside, me in waiting room with his mom, her hand in mine as she confessed fears. I almost lost him to secrets. "Thank you for bringing him back." Vulnerability bridged us, her acceptance blooming tentative. Winter holidays peaked with a surprise. Emily's engagement party, her new beau a kind-eyed teacher. We went as a unit, toasts mingling with old wounds healed. To second acts, she clinked with Henry, then me, full circle. By spring's return, we'd leased a two-flat in Ukrainian village, boxes unpacked amid laughter and minor disasters. Sarah catered housewarming pierogies. Jordan hung, by the way, neon, tongue-in-cheek. Life settled, but growth persisted. Henry joining a by men's group, me exhibiting at a queer art fest, pieces of us raw on canvas. One evening, sketching by window light, he wrapped arms around me from behind. Vanished once. Never again. I leaned back, content. Good. Because I'm done waiting. Yet stories don't end tidy. Conflicts simmer, prejudices flare. Summer tested us. A work trip for Henry to Dallas. Firm conference rife with conservative suits. He returned shaken, recounting a partner's joke, veering into territory. Heard you're into the rainbow crowd now. Careful, son, clients talk. Rage boiled in me, but he waved it off. Water under the bridge. Proves I belong there, fighting from inside. Our circle expanded. Mia's sister, a trans activist, joining game nights with board games and boundary talks. Sarah's parlor hosted a pride pop-up, Henry volunteering ink sessions for trans youth, small acts rippling out. But internal tempests brewed. A nightmare woke him sweating, echoes of his wedding day morphing into rejection reels. What if they never fully accept? He'd murmur, my reassurances a nightly ritual. Fall brought a high. Joint art law project. Me designing pro bono posters for an LGBTQ+ clinic. Henry litigating their funding case. Victory party at the parlor. Champagne toasts, Sarah's toast, to the dreamers who stayed. Emily came, her fiancé in tow, bridging past to present with easy chatter. Winter whispered doubts again. Holiday cards from distant relatives laced with Bible verses. His dad's health dipping. Blame subtly shifted. If you'd stuck with Emily. Trailed unspoken. Henry confronted it head-on. A tense drive to the suburbs yielding tears and truce. Love me as I am, or not at all, he declared, my hand in his as we left, spine straight. Spring unfurled renewal. A weekend in Door County, cherry blossoms and quiet hikes. There, atop a bluff, wind whipping, he knelt. Not proposal, but pledge. Marry me? When you're ready. Ring simple, silver band etched with intertwined initials. Tears blurred the lake view. Yes. 1,000 times. Planning wove summer's fabric. Venue hunt in Michigan dunes. Guest list blending families. My parents beaming over menu tastings. His mom selecting flowers with tentative enthusiasm. Jordan as best person, Sarah officiating with flair. Emily RSVP'd yes, a full-circle guest. But climax crested pre-wedding. A family intervention ambush, his uncle rallying concerned kin for a chat at the country club. Henry went alone, armor forged from therapy and love. I paced our flat, Sarah on speed dial, until his call. It's over. They tried scripture and shame, but I walked. Told them love wins, or they lose me. Pride swelled, but ache for his pain. He arrived hollow-eyed, collapsing into my arms. Hurt like hell, but free. We held vigil that night. Ice cream and indie flicks, his head on my lap as sleep claimed him. Dawn brought resolve, trimmed guest list, focused joy. The wedding dawned golden, dunes whispering approval. Isle of petals, waves crashing chorus. Vows exchanged raw, his voice steady on, I choose you, every messy, beautiful day. Mine cracking on no more vanishing, together always. Rings slid home, kiss ceiling under cheers, family patchwork, friends fierce. Reception spilled into sunset, toasts tumbling. Jordan's roast-laced love letter, Sarah's tearful, you did it, cabrons. Emily's quiet, happily ever-afters are earned. Dance floor pulsed, my parents swaying to salsa, his mom twirling with Henry, barriers blurring. Honeymoon in Provincetown, bike rides and whale watches, nights tangled in sheets, futures sketched on napkins. Back home, life resumed amplified, his promotion to partner, my solo exhibit selling out, a dog adopted, scruffy mutt named Echo. Years layered, adoptions discussed, travels to Mexico for my roots, his firm going rainbow certified. Prejudices faded, not vanished, stray comments met with unity. Emily's wedding we attended, her joy hours. Through it, the hook held. That rain-lashed church, the mouthed plea. Wait for me. I'd waited, but no more. Now we ran, hand in hand, into the light we'd claimed. Love, it turned out, wasn't a vanishing act. It was arrival.